Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to Farooq Khalid official. You're watching my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss P2 May-June 2023, and this is in accordance with the new syllabus that you will encounter in CAIs in May this year. Again, this will be 80 mark paper with no choice, so you have to attempt all questions. So let's begin with the paper. Question 1 is as usual. You are given with the list of chemical compounds, and one compound may be used once or more than once or not at all. So this question, it is easier for the students who have covered the overall syllabus and they know the bullet points and overall concept of the topics. So part A is state which oxide is neutral. So talking about the neutral oxide, water is a neutral oxide, and we have NO that also acts as a neutral oxide. So water H2O in this case will act as a neutral oxide. It is neither acidic nor basic, and correct answer will be H2O. Part B is state which oxide reacts with calcium oxide to form slag in the blast furnace. Part B is from the chapter metals, and we have studied this reaction. Calcium oxide, it reacts with sand SiO2 to form calcium silicate CaSiO3. This is known as slag. So here calcium oxide is being reacted with SiO2. So the compound is SiO2. Here it is in the list. So the correct option is SiO2. Part C is which oxide reacts with warm dilute hydrochloric acid to give a blue colored solution. So we know copper gives blue colored solution. So we have to see copper from the list. So here we have copper, CuO. So copper oxide will give blue colored solution once it reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. Part D is which oxide is amphoteric. So amphoteric oxides, dear students, once they react with acids, they act as a base, and when you react them with a base, they act as an acid. So amphoteric oxides in our syllabus are lead oxide, beryllium oxide, zinc oxide, aluminium oxide, and phosphorus oxide. So you should learn this list. Majority of the times, like 95%, zinc oxide is asked in the exam, and here in the list again zinc oxide is mentioned. So zinc oxide acts as a amphoteric oxide. Part E is which oxide contain an ion with an oxidation number of +3. So you will be given with a copy of periodic table. Now see Fe2O3, iron, it exists in two oxidation states as it is a transition element. Iron, it will be in Fe+2 form or it will be Fe+3 form. Here Fe2O3, when you will reverse the crossover method, iron will have +3 charge, oxide will have -2 charge. So it means Fe2O3, that is the formula of the oxide that has a charge of +3. The metal atom is having charge of +3. So Fe2O3 will be the correct option. Part F, which oxide decolorizes acidified aqueous potassium manganate. So this is from identification of ions, qualitative analysis, table for identification of gases. Sulfur dioxide, it has double bond. So wherever double bond is present, KMnO4, it reacts with sulfur dioxide, and it reacts with the sulfur dioxide, and the purple color of KMnO4, it disappears. So the correct answer here is SO2. This test is also used to differentiate alkanes and alkenes. We have seen this in chapter of organic chemistry. Now moving on to question number 2. Group 7 includes the elements fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. This question is from the chapter periodic table. The topic periodic table, this chapter periodic table. So group 7 includes the elements fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Chlorine is a green gas at room temperature and pressure. State the appearance of iodine at room temperature and pressure. So dear student, iodine is a solid at room temperature and pressure. So its color is gray black. Its color is gray black. Or you can mention black as well. So dark gray or black or gray black, this is the color of iodine in solid form, and in aqueous form it is brown color. Part B is chlorine reacts with aqueous potassium iodide in a displacement reaction. Chlorine is more reactive than iodine, so it can be a displacement reaction. Explain in terms of electrons why chlorine is an oxidizing agent in this reaction. So the element which undergoes reduction acts as an oxidizing agent. So oxidizing agent oxidizes the next element with which it reacts and reduces itself. So here chlorine gains electron. Chlorine gains electron. One more thing students, here it is a 2-mark question. 1 mark is for mentioning color, the other mark is for the physical state of iodine at RTP. So it is gray black solid. So you should know iodine at RTP is solid, fluorine, chlorine are gases, bromine is a liquid. Now second part, state the oxidation number of iodine in I2. So we have studied oxidation number of all elements in their free state is 0. So here iodine has an oxidation number of 0. Moving on to the third part, describe what is observed during the displacement reaction. So dear students, whenever you see this word observation or observed, it means examiner is asking about the color change or increase or decrease in mass or the formation of bubbles or fizzing or effervescence. So what you can observe is the color change or formation of bubbles. So what you see in this reaction, you will see iodine in aqueous solution. So as I already have told you, iodine in aqueous solution, it has which color? It has brown color. So here what we will observe, brown color. Part C, the rate of diffusion. This is from states of matter, particulate nature of matter and diffusion. The rate of diffusion of fluorine gas is greater than that of chlorine gas under the same conditions of temperature and pressure. State what is meant by the term diffusion. So it's very simple. Examiner is asking about the definition of the process of diffusion and movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. So movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. And you should know there are how many factors upon which diffusion depends. There are 2 factors. One is molecular mass and other one is temperature. Temperature is directly proportional to diffusion and molecular mass is inversely proportional. Second part is explain why the rate of diffusion of fluorine is greater than that of chlorine. Very simple, 1 mark question. Whenever the reason about the diffusion is asked, so you should make sure the keyword must be either temperature or molecular mass. So here fluorine has less molecular mass than chlorine. Third part, the rate of diffusion of fluorine increases as the temperature increases. Is just why using idea about kinetic particle theory. This is also again a 1 mark question. So what happens once the particles are heated, the particles move faster as particles have more kinetic energy. Particles move faster as they have more energy. So that's it for question number 2. Now let's move on to the question number 3. This is from the topic acid, base and salts, and now this is from moles and stoichiometry, the part 1, and they are asking you about the topic limiting reactant. So you have to show by calculation that zinc carbonate is in excess. So dear students, we have studied this in detail. Limiting reactant is a reactant that is consumed earlier in a chemical reaction. Now part A, here the overall reaction is explained, and what is the reaction? Zinc nitrate, which is a soluble salt, and you are asked to prepare this soluble salt, and you are given with the equation. The reaction equation is mentioned here. Zinc carbonate is reacted with nitric acid to produce zinc nitrate, water and carbon dioxide. So here a sample of 4.50 gram of zinc carbonate, mass of zinc carbonate is given, is added to 50 cubic centimeter of 1.30 mole per dm cube nitric acid. Concentration and volume of nitric acid is given, and you are given with the mass of zinc carbonate. Show by calculation that zinc carbonate is in excess. So if zinc carbonate is in excess, it means the limiting reactant is nitric acid. So firstly what we will do, we will calculate the moles of zinc carbonate. This is a 3 mark question. So how will you calculate moles from the mass? You use the formula number of moles are equal to mass over molar mass. So number of moles are equal to mass over molar mass. So here 4.50 gram divided by molecular mass of zinc carbonate, you can find out 1 multiplied by 65 plus 1 times 12 plus 3 times 16. Then the answer will be equal to 125 grams per mole. So put this value here, 125 grams per mole. Gram will be cancelled with grams, so you will have moles of zinc carbonate. Those are 0.036 mole of zinc carbonate. So these are the actual moles of zinc carbonate. Now the step 2 is the ratio method. So what is ratio method? On one side you write given, on the other side you write required. What you will write on the required side? The excess reactant. So which reactant is the excess reactant? It is already mentioned. Zinc carbonate is the excess reactant. But dear students, firstly you need to calculate the moles of nitric acid as well, because the limiting reactant is written on the given side. So you have to use the moles of nitric acid here as well. So now how will you calculate the moles of nitric acid? You are given with C and V, then you should use the formula C is equal to N over V. From here N will be equal to C multiplied by V over 1000 in order to convert Cm cube into Dm cube. Now C is 1.30 mole per Dm cube multiplied by 50 over 1000. So in this way you will have the moles of nitric acid. So the answer will be 0.072 mole of nitric acid, HNO3. Now students, most important part, whenever the examiner asks you to show by calculation the excess reactant, you should know excess reactant will always be in the required side. So zinc carbonate is in excess, so zinc carbonate will be in the required side. and on the given side the limiting reactant. The limiting reactant here in this case is HNO3. Now first two digits you write from the balanced chemical equation. So there are how many moles of nitric acid in the equation? These are the 2 moles. So write 2 here, and zinc carbonate, if nothing, it is 1. Then you will let X here, and here you will write the answer of the moles of nitric acid, that is 0.072. Now by cross multiplying you get the answer for X, that is 0.072 divided by 2. So you will get the answer 0.0325. 0.0325. 0.0325. So these are the moles of zinc carbonate out of 0.036 moles of zinc carbonate which were present at the start. Only 0.0325 were reacted with the nitric acid mole. So it means zinc carbonate was in excess. How much excess it was? You can subtract the reacted moles from the total moles. So it means the calculation here is showing that the 0.036 moles were in excess because not complete moles were used in the reaction with nitric acid. You have shown this by calculation. Now the second part is, once the reaction has finished, the mixture is filtered. State why the mixture is filtered. That's really simple. Filtration is used to remove the excess insoluble salt. So here the insoluble salt is zinc carbonate. So here the answer will be to remove the excess zinc carbonate. Now the third part is, it's a 3-mark question. Describe how to make pure dry zinc nitrate crystals. So this is from the method of crystallization. Zinc nitrate crystals from an aqueous solution of zinc nitrate. So students, you have learned the method that we studied, titration and precipitation method. For soluble salt you use the titration method, and for insoluble salt you use the precipitation method. Zinc nitrate is a soluble salt. Here you will add excess of zinc carbonate in nitric acid to form zinc nitrate from the reaction. So how we will write the method here? Firstly, we will write add excess of zinc carbonate in nitric acid HNO3 solution. Now zinc nitrate will be in filtrate, so we will write filter the solution and evaporate some portion of it. Evaporate some portion of it to form saturated solution. Then finally dry the crystals in several folds of the filter paper. Part B is lead chloride is an insoluble salt. This is from the topic acid, base and salt. From the solubility table you know 2 chlorides are insoluble, lead chloride and silver chloride. It is prepared using a precipitation reaction, so we already know this. Name two aqueous solutions that react together to give precipitate of lead chloride. So you know, you use the following four ions in order to write the reactants of insoluble salt. So the anion will be nitrate here. So they are asking about the two aqueous solutions. So we will write two aqueous solutions here. One will be lead nitrate, other one can be either potassium chloride, ammonium chloride or sodium chloride. You can write either one, that will be correct. So here I will write sodium chloride. Now the part C is ammonium sulfate is a soluble salt. It is prepared by the reaction of an alkali and an acid. Name the alkali and the acid used. So ammonium sulfate, NH4 twice SO4. So how will you make ammonium sulfate? Here the alkali will be ammonia, aqueous ammonia. Aqueous ammonia, that will be alkali, and the acid sulfate containing acid is dilute sulfuric acid. Dilute sulfuric acid. So students, let's move on to question number 4. Question number 4 is from the topic atoms, elements and compounds. So part A is the formula for nitride ion can be written as this. Complete the table. You have to write the number of electrons, neutrons and protons. That's very simple. So number of electrons here will be 10 because it is -3, 7 plus 3, that will be equal to 10. Number of neutrons 15 minus 7, that will be equal to 8. And number of protons here are 7. Part B is state why the formula for magnesium ion is Mg plus 2 rather than Mg plus 1 or plus 3. The reason is in its proton number. Magnesium having proton number of 12. When you will write its configuration, it will be 282. So metals, they lose their valence shell electrons. So it have to lose all electrons to become stable and attain the configuration of noble gas, that is neon. So that's why magnesium exists in plus 2 form. So what should we write in the answer? Mg plus 2 has full outer shell electrons. Now students, part C is the formula for nitride ion is N-3. Deduce the formula for magnesium nitride. So magnesium is having formula Mg plus 2 and nitride is having formula -3. So by using crossover method, you can simply write the formula. It will be Mg2N3. 2 and 3 are not divisible, therefore the final formula will be Mg2N3. Magnesium nitrate is an ionic compound. Predict two physical properties of magnesium nitrate. So physical properties are solubility, boiling point and melting point, and electrical conductivity. So ionic compounds are soluble in water. So we will write soluble in water. And second, it conducts electricity. It conducts electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity in molten and solution form. So now the part E is calculate the percentage by mass of nitrogen in magnesium nitrate. So magnesium nitrate MgNO3 twice, that is the formula. Here you have to calculate the percentage of nitrogen. Formula we have learned, percentage of an element can be found by using this formula, number of atoms of the element multiply by AR divided by Mr into 100. So let's apply this. Number of atoms of nitrogen in magnesium nitrate are 2, AR of nitrogen from periodic table 14, Mr of magnesium nitrate when you will calculate this will be 148, and for percentage multiply this with 100. So dear students, the final answer will be 19% of nitrogen. Let's move to question number 5. The following question is from the topic chemical energetics, and here the reaction between carbon and steam is shown to produce carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas. Part A is an equilibrium mixture is formed when the reversible reaction happens in a closed system. Explain why the reversible reaction must be in a closed system for the equilibrium mixture to be formed. Dynamic equilibrium is only achievable in a closed system. If two molecules are being evaporated, two will come back after condensation. This is dynamic equilibrium. It is only possible in a closed system, because if this is an open system, then gas molecule will escape the system. So that's why it should be a closed system, so that products cannot escape. Reactants or products cannot escape. Part 2 is Le Chatelier principle. The question is about the position of equilibrium. The temperature is decreased, and you have to predict the position of equilibrium. Firstly, you should know whether the following reaction is exo or endo. So we will see. This is a forward reaction absorbs thermal energy. It means this is an endothermic reaction. This is an endothermic reaction. The forward reaction absorbs energy, so the bond breaking is endothermic. So here we should know the forward reaction, if absorbs energy, it means the heat will be written in the reactant side. Now the temperature is decreased, so temperature will be decreased on the side where heat is mentioned. In order to balance this amount of heat, now position of equilibrium will be shifted towards the left or towards the reactant. So position of equilibrium, it moves towards the left or towards the reactants, and the reason for this is because the forward reaction is endothermic. The forward reaction is endothermic. Part 3, again the question about the position of equilibrium. Now the pressure is decreased. So effect of pressure is applicable to gases only. So we have to calculate the total number of moles of gases on both sides. You can see 1 mole of gas is on the reactant side, and there are 2 moles of gases on the product side. So once you will decrease the pressure, equilibrium shifts towards the side with more moles. So the more moles are on the right or on the product side. So equilibrium, it moves towards the right or products, because products have more moles of gases. Now students, rate of reaction is directly proportional to temperature, pressure, concentration and catalyst, and it is inversely proportional to particle size. So these are the 5 factors which affect the rate of reaction. Now the following question is from the topic chemical reaction. So rate of backward reaction, predict what happens to the rate of backward reaction when the temperature is decreased, whether it is forward reaction or backward reaction. What will happen? Once you decrease the temperature, particles will absorb less heat, their kinetic energy decreases, hence Killian frequency decreases. Therefore, rate of reaction it decreases. So, what happens? Rate of reaction decreases. Rate of reaction decreases because particles move slower and have less Killian frequency. Part C is rate of backward reaction when pressure is increased. Now as the pressure is increased, more number of particles will be available in per unit volume. There will be more effective Killians. Killian frequency will increase, hence rate of reaction will increase. So we will write rate of backward reaction increases because more particles are present per unit volume and Killian frequency increases. So now students, question number 6 is from the topic chemical energetics, and you have to draw the energy profile diagram. So what the examiner wants you to draw, the axes, you have to label the axes, reactants, products, enthalpy change and activation energy. All these things you have to label correctly. So on the y-axis you either write enthalpy or energy. So enthalpy is more suitable term. H, unit is kilojoule per mole. Here it will be origin, and along the x-axis you will write reaction pathway or course of reaction. So dear students, as you know, it is mentioned here, this is an endothermic reaction. So in endothermic reaction, reactants have less energy as compared to the products. So here I will write reactants. What are the reactants here? N2 and O2. So write it N2 plus O2. Products are 2NO. Write 2NO here. This is the product. Now you have to show the enthalpy change. So whenever you represent delta H, the tail must be towards the reactant and head must be towards the product. So this is delta H equal to positive. Positive means this is endothermic reaction. Now talking about the activation energy, this is the energy of reactant. So you will show a peak that starts from the reactant and it ends on the product. So this will be the energy that is activation energy represented with EA. So this is how you will draw the diagram. So now moving on, part B is again from the chapter chemical reaction. So dear students, how can you know whether the given reaction is endothermic or exothermic? We know for that there is a formula, delta H is equal to endo minus exo. So bond breaking is endothermic. Key concept is bond breaking is endothermic and bond making is exothermic. So firstly we will calculate these two values. Firstly, bond breaking, it occurs in the reactants. So let us calculate bond breaking, value for bond breaking. For this, there is 1 mole of HH, and in order to break one HH bond, we need 436 kilojoule per mole energy. So 1 multiplied by 436 plus 1 mole of Br2. So in order to break Br bond, 193 kilojoule per mole energy is required. So 1 multiplied by 193. So we will have answer that will be equal to 629 kilojoule per mole. Now dear students, let's calculate energy released when bond making occurs. So this is calculated from the products. Firstly, see the number of moles, 2 multiplied by HBr. The bond energy for HBr is 366. So once you will multiply, you'll get the answer that is 732 kilojoule per mole. Now substitute these values in the following formula. Delta H is equal to endo minus exo. For endothermic, that is bond breaking, the value is 629, and for exo, that is bond making, it is 732. Now the delta H for this reaction is minus 103 kilojoule per mole. It means this is an exothermic reaction. So write the value here, that is minus 103. Now dear students, question number 7 is from the topic hydrocarbons. But1ene. But means 4 carbon atom. 1 represents the double bond between carbon 1 and 2. Ene represent this is an alkene. So state the general formula for the homologous series of alkene. That's very simple, CnH2n. Now B part, but1ene, but2ene are structural isomers. State the meaning of term structural isomers. So now dear students, structural isomers, they have same molecular formula but different structural formula. Same molecular formula but different structural formula. Now draw the displayed formula of but2ene. Firstly, there are 4 carbon atoms. But is telling us, so draw 4 carbon atoms with a single bond. Now 2 represents that double bond is between carbon 2 and 3. So you can start numbering from either side. This will be carbon 2 and 3. Here I will mention a double bond. So now complete the valency of carbon atoms by assigning hydrogen atom, attaching hydrogen atom with each carbon atom. The terminal carbons, they need 3 hydrogen atom each. The central one 1, and again the terminal 3. Carbon makes 4 bonds at a time, hydrogen 1. So this is how you'll do it. This is the structure of but2ene. If you will start numbering from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the double bond is present between carbon 2 and 3. Part C is but1ene is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. State why but1ene is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. So dear student, unsaturated hydrocarbons have carbon-carbon double bond between carbon atoms. It has double bond. It has double bond between carbon atoms. State why but1ene is a hydrocarbon. It contains carbon and hydrogen only. Carbon and hydrogen only. Hydrocarbons only contain carbon and hydrogen. Part D is but1ene reacts with steam in the presence of catalyst and reacts with bromine. Draw the structural formula of product of the reaction with steam in the presence of catalyst. So this is from chapter hydrocarbons and the reaction name is hydration of alkene. So that's really simple. What will happen? You have to write the structural formula of the product only. So dear students, but1ene, this is but1ene, this is but1ene. Once it reacts with steam, what is steam? Steam is HOH, that is water in gaseous form. H will go towards the carbon that has more number of hydrogen atoms. According to Markovnikov rule, richer becomes rich. So the final formula for the product will be, here you will write C, single bond C, OH, here will be 3H and then H, then C, H2, CH3. So the catalyst that is used here is phosphoric acid and 60 atm pressure, 300 degrees Celsius temperature. These are the conditions, and then draw the structural formula of the product with the bromine. So 2 bromine will be added here in case of the reaction with Br2. So you will write C, single bond C, here will be 2 bromine. Remember students, reaction always occur at the double bond. So you can see H and OH, here it is attached where the double bond was present. And Br is also attached where the double bond was already present, which means between carbon 1 and 2. Now fulfill the valency of carbon atoms by attaching hydrogen. Each carbon atom makes 4 bonds at a time. This carbon is making 1, so you will attach 2, so you will attach 2 more hydrogens. This one is making 3, attach 1 more hydrogen, 2 more with this one and 3 with the terminal. Now ethene is a covalent substance. Draw and dot cross structure showing bonding in ethene molecule. It's a covalent compound. So in CAIs, whenever there is a dot cross structure of covalent compounds, only outer shell of electrons is drawn. So examiner asks you to draw the outer shell. So ethene, they are asking you to draw the dot cross structure of ethene. So dear students, ethene, it's a 2 carbon alkene. This is how its structural formula is. So 2 carbon atoms will overlap with each other and there will be 2 hydrogen atoms with each carbon. Now carbon share 4 electrons. Let us represent the electrons from the carbon with cross. So here it will be cross. 1 hydrogen can share 1 electron. So we can represent the electron of hydrogen with a dot. So carbon here, it shares 2 electron with another carbon. So this is how you will draw the dot cross structure of ethene. Explain why ethene has a low melting point. Due to weak intermolecular forces of attraction. Covalent compounds have weak intermolecular forces of attraction and ionic compounds have strong electrostatic forces of attraction. Question number 8, dear students, this is from the topic electrochemistry. And here the examiner is asking you to write the products at anode and cathode once the electrolyte is concentrated aqueous potassium iodide. So in case of concentrated aqueous solution, always other than OH negative ion, goes towards the anode. So iodide will go towards anode and it will produce iodine there. And potassium is above hydrogen in the series, so aqueous solution has H positive and K positive. H positive being less reactive has more ease of discharge, so hydrogen is produced at the cathode. Now dilute sulfuric acid. In case of dilute aqueous solutions, dilute solutions, always OH negative goes towards anode and it produces which gas? That is oxygen, and again hydrogen will be produced at the cathode. Now molten compounds have only two ions, lead and bromide, so this is most easiest. Negative ion goes towards anode, so bromine will be formed at the anode and lead at the cathode. Part B, give two reasons why graphite is suitable material for electrodes. So the two reasons here: firstly, graphite is unreactive, or you can use the term inert, or you can use the term insoluble. Covalent compounds are insoluble in water. Second is it has high melting point, or it conducts electricity. Graphite can conduct electricity, whereas sand cannot conduct electricity. So you can write conducts electricity, or there is another keyword, it has high melting point. C is aluminium is manufactured by the electrolysis of aluminium oxide dissolved in molten cryolite. At the anode, oxide ion react to make oxygen molecule, construct ionic half equation. So we know 2O minus 2 will go towards anode. It will produce O2 gas plus it will release 4 electrons. Dear students, question number 9. This is from the topic moles and stoichiometry. Now a sample of clean dry air contains this proportion of carbon dioxide, and we have to calculate the number of molecules of carbon dioxide in this much proportion of clean dry air. Firstly, we will see how much is the volume of carbon dioxide with this percentage in this volume. So for that, volume of carbon dioxide, volume of CO2, how will you find out? Simply multiply 0.400, find out the percentage of this in 480 dm cube. So you will have the answer, that will be 0.192 dm cube. So now we have the volume of carbon dioxide, so we can calculate the number of moles of carbon dioxide. How can we calculate the number of moles? Whenever the volume of gas is given in dm cube, we use this formula, number of moles volume in dm cube over 24 dm cube. Now substitute the values, 0.192 mole multiply by 24, this will be the I beg your pardon, we have to find out the number of moles. So volume is 0.192 divided by 24, so we will have moles of carbon dioxide, that will be 0.008. Now number of molecules, how can we find out? By multiplying moles with Avogadro's number. So it will be 0.008 multiplied by 6.02 cross 10 raised to power 23. So the final answer will be 4.8. It will be 4.8 to multiply by 10 raised to power 21. Part B is complete combustion of fuel or gas, as gasoline makes carbon dioxide. One of the hydrocarbon in gasoline has the molecular formula C9H20. This is called nonane. Construct the equation for complete combustion. So dear students, for complete combustion, I have told you this equation, CXHY plus X plus Y by 4 O2. It will produce X CO2 plus Y by 2 H2O. Here X represents number of carbon atoms, Y represents number of hydrogen atom. So this is how you can balance any combustion reaction of hydrocarbons. So I'll write direct combustion reaction, that is C9H20 plus 14O2 to produce 9CO2 plus 10H2O. So how can you balance it? By using this reaction. Higher level of atmospheric carbon dioxide lead to increased global warming. Give one adverse effect of global warming. So what does global warming do? Global warming actually absorbs the thermal energy. Actually from the sun, the light, it travels in form of UV, ultraviolet. Once it strikes the earth's surface, it is reflected back in IR form. The greenhouse gases, they revert back these gases back to earth, hence earth temperature, it increases. So give adverse effect of global warming. So climate change is the adverse effect of global warming, or the sea level rises. The sea level rising as freshwater resources or glaciers are melting due to high temperature. So global warming is depleting the potable water resources. Describe how the presence of gases such as carbon dioxide in atmosphere causes the global warming. As dear students, I mentioned from the sun to earth, light travels in form of UV. Once it strikes, then it is converted back into IR. So here the gases like methane, CO2, they revert back these IR towards the earth's surface, hence the earth's temperature is continuously increasing. So this is the overall phenomena of global warming. So what happens? Carbon dioxide absorbs thermal energy from the earth and reflects back in form of IR. And stops the flow back to space. Carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere by photosynthesis. Straightforward equation for photosynthesis. Plants, they take carbon dioxide from air and they take water from soil, and in the presence of sunlight they form glucose and oxygen. This is the word equation for photosynthesis. Okay, now finally we are having question 10. Proteins and PET are polymers made by reaction called condensation polymerization. Part A. Draw the general structure of amino acid monomers used to make proteins. So amino acids, their general formula, dear students, is C. On one side it is bonded with alkyl group, on other side hydrogen, and on the one side it is bonded with carboxylic functional group C double bond OH, and then on other side amino functional group, that is NH2. Proteins are polyamide. Name one other polyamide. So in our syllabus, nylon is the polyamide we have studied. Now OC double bond O, this is the repeating unit. This is called ester linkage. So name of the linkage is ester linkage here. Now the second part is protein and PET are both made by condensation polymerization. Describe the differences between condensation polymerization and addition polymerization. So dear students, addition polymerization involves The joining of monomers without removal of water molecules. Addition polymerization involves the joining of monomers without removal of water molecule, and opposite occurs in condensation polymerization. Condensation polymerization involves the removal of water molecule. There are two more differences. Here I will write addition polymerization. You should learn the three differences, and on the other side I'll mention condensation polymerization. First difference I have mentioned above, that is the water molecule. Second is addition polymers has same empirical formula. And condensation polymers have different empirical formulas. Number 3, addition polymers use monomers with same functional group. And here different functional groups are present, like alcohol and carboxylic acids. Now C part is described two environmental changes caused by disposal of plastics such as PET. So it covers landfill sites, and formation of toxic gases like CO on burning. So that's it, dear students. We are done with this paper as well. Thank you.